Hey, quick editor's note before you check out my quick review for YuYuHakusho. I totally forgot to talk about how awesome of an intro YuYuHakusho anime had, and I would play a clip for you right now, but, you know, copyright, but it is the holiday season. Here's 3 seconds of it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and welcome back to another quick review or light spoiler review here on the channel. I am giving a review for the live action adaptation of YuYuHakusho. This is currently on Netflix. I watched it today. I actually went ahead and binged all 5 episodes of the live action adaptation. These are just going to be my general thoughts on it as someone who honestly has not watched Yu Yu Hakusho, the anime itself, since probably college. And I'm 40, so you do the math if you really want to.
Old people are the greatest. They're full of wisdom and experience.
This is going to be mostly just a quick review. Might have some mild spoilers, but if you haven't seen the live action adaptation of Yu Yu Hakusho, is currently on Netflix. I do recommend checking it out. It is only 5 episodes, so it's kind of a quick watch. I got through it in a few hours, and come back and hear my thoughts on it afterwards. And if this happens to be your first time checking out one of my videos, hi, my name is Will. I do geeky stuff on the internet. I just do reviews and reactions, some discussions, some gaming, some drinking. I just like to have fun, and I hope you do as well. And if that happens to be your bag and you're interested in hearing it from a geeky bear like myself, consider subscribing to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. It would just help this channel continue to grow. So, let me give you my thoughts on the Yu Yu Hakusho live action series. So, Yu Yu Hakusho is based off of a Shonen Jump manga way back in the early to mid 90s. It is about a boy named Yusuke Urameshi, who is just a delinquent high schooler, kind of, and he is killed while trying to save a young kid from being ran over by a truck. And he's allowed to come back to the world of the living, but to also serve as a spirit detective who goes around dealing with yokai or demons who are plaguing the world of the living. Surprisingly, there's a lot of anime that are mostly supernatural that are based about someone who dies and comes back to life and has to protect the world of the living from demons and whatnot. This is the live action adaptation based on the manga and the anime series. And I will just say this off the bat, as someone who has not watched the anime in a while, this was an interesting viewpoint for myself because I'm not necessarily as beholden to the original series. I enjoyed it from what I remember in college. I just haven't revisited the series in a long time. So this is mostly a perspective from the series with my ability to remember as much as I know about the manga and the series. I kind of watched it and took it for what it gave me. This is a lot different too than something that we got recently with the One Piece live action. Whereas the One Piece live action felt more like a recreation of the series with some subtle changes because of course One Piece is a long running series and it's still going on to this day. So they've had to condense a lot of stuff down to fit into 10 episodes. This is more like a mini series, or it's a miniseries, basically. I was going to say it's like a long movie, but it is really a self-contained story. I thought the depiction of all the characters actually felt really true to what I remembered. Yusuke is more so seen as a delinquent and a punk when he's really more so just a good guy who actually does the right thing and protects people, especially people who get picked on by bullies and stuff like that. I thought the depiction and the style of all the characters' designs were just ripped straight from the manga and from the anime, so I thought those portrayals were really good. In terms of the story is definitely completely different, at least from my memory, from the anime. The anime obviously went on for a number of seasons and arcs, where this is very much condensed down into just 5-hour-long episodes. I think a lot of the elements from those different arcs were sort of mixed up and thrown into these episodes. It worked overall. I thought the action in the 5 episodes was great. It was brutal. The fight choreography was amazing and fantastic. I even thought a lot of the special effects were actually pretty good, depending on whatever the budget is for these 5 episodes. But I think they pulled off a lot of the look of the demons or the yokai very well. I like the depiction of the spiritual energy that they used for Yusuke using his spirit gun or Kuwabara using his spirit sword. I really liked Karama and Hiei's design as well. They felt very authentic and more so updated for more of a modern take on the series, because again, the series is like, I think about 30, almost 40 years old at this point. So the look of it was very well done. I think the action was very well done. The story, for myself, it's an original story. At least that's what it felt like. Not a lot of it I remembered elements of it, like characters, introductions, and placement. They all happen at different times, so that is something that if you were expecting like a faithful adaptation from necessarily the manga or for like myself, would have been something from like the anime, it is drastically different in terms of when things happen, what takes place, when characters introduce themselves to each other. But again, I'm going off of like smaller memories. So if you know more about it or if it's more fresh in your mind, let me know those things in the comments down below. I'm curious to see what you thought of the series, especially if you're someone who memorized each arc by heart. I remember the Dark Tournament, and that's the biggest arc that I remember for the most part. I thought all of the actors who portrayed the characters did a really good job. I should note I did watch the dub version because I was going to just watch the first episode dubbed, which is not bad. It was still subtitled, obviously. In our house, we usually have subtitles on. I thought the dubs that the dub actors that they used were fine. I actually had to look a few of them up. Only one I actually recognized was Johnny Young Bosch, who did the English voice for Kurama. But most of the other actors I was not super familiar with. It was really cool. Like I said, the fight choreography I thought was really well done. I wasn't necessarily big on the villain of it, who was, I guess, depicted more as the main villain of this, not necessarily Toguro, who was more iconic in the anime itself. He didn't necessarily seem like a big bad. In this one, he seemed more like a henchman to someone else. And that person just kind of was there for me. Their placement and what they were doing felt very weird. It felt like they were trying to do so much in such a small amount of time. And I kind of wish this was a little bit longer. Now, this wasn't necessarily like the One Piece adaptation where it was actually produced here. This was produced in Japan. I'm not sure how they're structured in terms of like these miniseries are per se. I know they've done like Rurouni Kenshin and Bleach live action. That was probably the only thing that was a little weird. The story was just kind of okay, but I loved everything around it. I loved the characters. I loved the action, the depiction of the characters, and the only thing I kind of wish more was that certain characters had more time to interact with each other, especially more like Yusuke's crew compared to like the other yokai that they encountered. They just didn't have enough time for myself to flesh out a little bit more. And it's probably just because of the 5-episode run. It doesn't necessarily leave a lot open if they want to do a second season for it. I don't know where it would go. It would definitely be something completely original, because a lot of the stuff, from my understanding and just my memory, definitely was skipped. I think if you're expecting a direct adaptation from like anime to live action, I don't think that's what you're getting with this. I think you're getting a more original story with familiar elements from those arcs into a shorter runtime. But if you just want to really see your favorite characters brought to life, surprisingly accurate from what I remember, I think this does a decent job. I would have loved for a little bit of a longer like series, but for what we got, I enjoyed it. I actually had a good time watching it. It kept my interest all the way through. And a lot of the practical effects, especially for like some of the periods when humans were being affected by the yokai, I thought were really well done. And I liked the core 4 characters. I thought the person who portrayed Kuwabara was really funny and was a good sort of levity agent through some of the more serious scenes, but he actually had a pretty good arc throughout the 5 episodes, and yeah, I enjoyed it overall. So this was just kind of a quick one. I figured I'd talk about it because I actually watched it and I enjoyed it. So I would recommend checking out Yu Yu Hakusho, the live action on Netflix. It's a solid 5 hours. I would hope they would do a second season, sort of, but we'll just have to wait and see if they do. But those are just my general thoughts on it. Let me know any thoughts that you have on the Yu Yu Hakusho live action series in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for checking out this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. If you were new here and this was the first time you checked out one of my videos, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you'll consider subscribing to the channel. I do a ton of videos. Usually I post weekly, so feel free to check those out. You can follow me on a lot of different social media platforms listed at the end of this video. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, I will catch you later. See ya. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.